we gonna have to get some of these players.
Let's bring them in. Let's bring them together.
You know? and the rest is history. Now all these top universities are recruiting, and our HBCUs can recruit because they don't have the resources. So we just that's one example of not knowing our value. You know, where we put another community ahead of our own community. And that's another example of the psychological effects of slavery. I mean, we could keep going on and on. I'll give you for another example. Who do you think should have been the first black millionaire? Just think about, I'll give you some people. Okay, Oprah Winfrey was one. Bob Johnson. You know anybody else you think could have been the first black billionaire?
The first black billionaire?
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Well, Bill Cosby, right. Well, let me share. There was another brother, too. Actually, he should have been the first black billionaire. His name was Reginald Lewis. A lot of people don't know about him. But this brother, I don't know if you remember or heard of the company it was a conglomerate called Beatrice Foods.
No.
They were big back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. Well, he negotiated a deal where he bought Beatrice Foods, and he became he wasn't a billionaire, but he became the first black man to own a billion-dollar corporation, conglomerate, you know. But he's got a great book. It's called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And it's a wonderful book, but it talks about how he, you know, his life and where he came from and how he you know, became successful to run a multinational company and stuff. But I say all that to say, I believe personally Michael Jordan, other than Reginald Lewis, Michael Jordan should have been the first black billionaire, and here's why. Now, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, the number one shoe company was Converse All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
Nike
Taylor's.
was like Chuck Taylor's, exactly.
Chuck Taylor's.
Yeah, Nike was like third or fourth because it was Converse All-Stars. It was either Adidas or Reebok, but Nike was like third or fourth. Michael Jordan put Nike on the map.
Yes, that's why they offered him that big contract.
On the map, right? Okay, so let me show you two examples, and that's which will show why Jordan should have been the first black billionaire. When Bob Johnson sold BET, he sold it for $3 billion, so he became the second billionaire behind Oprah Winfrey. But you know what? Bob Johnson is the second largest shareholder of Viacom stock. People don't know that. He's the second largest shareholder of Viacom stock. So my point is, Jordan should be the second largest shareholder of Nike stock. And if he was the second largest, he would be a billionaire. He just became a billionaire last year. Mm-hmm. He should have been a billionaire, but either the people surrounding him, so-called giving him advice, either they didn't see that, or, you know, somebody, or they didn't think he was worthy of it. But he should have been, the first black billionaire. Oprah Winfrey, she lucked up. She got a good legal advice, good. I don't know if it was, I think it was an attorney, but he's the one that told her that she should own the Oprah Winfrey Show as opposed to just being a host on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Mm-hmm. And he explained to her, he said, look, you can't have the Oprah Winfrey Show without Oprah Winfrey. So that's how she negotiated her deal to own it. And look she's worth over $2 billion now.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me Jordan couldn't do that?
Yeah,
now don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, he's making about $100 million a year right now. But that ought to tell you something. If somebody's willing to pay you $100 million, see, this is what these athletes don't get. It's about ownership. It's not just about endorsement. It's about ownership. And so I'm trying to get but to be honest, that's a microcosm of our community.
Yes.
Because we spending hundreds of billions, $1 trillion a year, with that money, and then we wonder why we don't have nothing in our community.
Because it's steady going outside. It's steady going away. Now, to speak on what you were talking about the contract with Jordan, though, guess what? That's why they gave him the contract. See, you just said, Nike shoe was down the list, right? What if you had a Jordan shoe, right? That'll rival every other shoe out there. So then now Jordan, the brand, is the competition. right? So Nike had to give him that big contract and throw that money at him because you have your own Jordan shoe. Same thing with LeBron James. They threw that big old contract at him because he can have his own shoe, like his own competition. So they don't want you to do that. We'll bring you in this way, right? So that way you're not a real rival. We still kind of got you, right?
Yeah, but they got you in your pocket. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, if somebody's willing to give you $100 million, that means they're making at least $1 billion off.
They're making $1 billion. Same thing with the athletes, right? If they paying you these millions, okay, you getting paid, but they making a whole lot more. So if they're making that much more off of you, how much are you worth then, right?
That goes back to what I'm saying. We don't know our value.
Yeah.
We do not know our value
and
as
when
a
you
community.
Don't, you'll be willing to settle, and you will settle and don't even know you're settling.
Right, exactly. You thinking you making all this money when the people you endorsing are making 10 times, 5, 10 times off of you, and you thinking you making some money.
But guess what,
that's
though?
What I'm saying.
The circle around you probably are making money, right? You the man. You balling in the mix, right? To the people that's around you, right? So the circle. So I think sometimes we won't see it, and we can't see it because, well, I'm bigger than these people that's around me. I'm not doing as bad as these people doing. So they don't really see how much they are being manipulated because it is better than others. They're comparing their success against other people.
Exactly. They don't see they don't see the big picture. But these are the things that 3UFirst was created. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to get our leaders, I'm trying to get our athletes and entertainers to understand that together we can make more money together than we can apart. I talk about our leaders. There's no more figureheads. There's no more kings. There's no more exes. You know what I'm saying? There's no more Garveys. We're gonna have to come together in order to reach our full potential. And so this is one of the things that I'm really pushing for our leaders to wake up and realize that we can do this, but we have to do it together. So and it'll benefit them more in the long run because, like I said, these brothers, Dr. Claude Anderson, Minister Farrakhan, and some of these other leaders in our community, they put in the work. They've done some positive things, but they're not finished. They're not complete. I mean, they're in their 70s right now, and they're still out there putting in work. They shouldn't have to be doing that, But if they came together under one tent and have 3UFirst support what they're doing, be the funding base for what they're doing. We have no funding base. We have no national nothing. Mm-hmm. Name something we got national. Mm-hmm. We don't have no national health system. We don't have no national bank system. We don't have no national educational system. These are the things that we need, and that's what I'm saying that, 3UFirst, by supporting 3UFirst, we can start to begin to really solve these problems. We still dealing with the same problems 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's crazy.
Same
That's madness.
Problems. Same problems, man. That's madness.
So,
you're right.
So my point is, I'm not knocking, the people that I just mentioned. I'm not knocking our leadership because they put in the work. What I'm saying is that something's not right because we're not solving the problems. You know what I mean? And so we, in order to really solve the problems, we got to come together. We got to come together with the leadership. We got to come together as a community. And here's another thing. You hear our leaders talking about, we need to work together and come together. But they haven't done the same thing they've been telling us to do for the last 40, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Nope. So it's like, man, y'all got to come together, and we will come together. If you really, really focused on solving the problems, because there's some hustlers out there that they don't really want the problem solved because that's how they make money.
Oh no!
I'm be straight up. I'm be straight up on that. They go around the country just speaking, just talking.
Hope is for sale, my brother. Hope is for sale. You dig? Hope is for sale. We got hope over here. We got hope over here. We got a little bit of hope over in this corner right here. Black Friday just passed, right? So they had hope half off. Hope is for sale. and because as long as I keep you in a weak, dependent state of mind, you are always going to be looking for somebody to help you, right? And so if I tell you through your history is that, you still better than a slave. Hey, that's where it started. So, you right. Appreciate what you got. Hey, at least it's not slavery, right?
And no, that's the sad part, man. And it goes back to that value and how we settle. We settle And the sad part is, half of our community is doing okay to amazing. The other half is struggling. But that half that's doing okay to amazing is not really helping the other half. Now, I'm not saying they don't contribute, they don't donate, whatever.
Right.
But we got to do it strategically, man. We got to build our own institutions. We can't keep going to these different. See, 3UFirst is about choices.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons we created 3UFirst. To give people choices, to give you options. For the fact that you got a choice, you'll have a choice if rather than going to work for the mainstream where you get paid less than your white counterpart for doing the same job. That's what 3UFirst is created to solve that problem, to give you an option. We don't have no option now. We got to settle for that being paid less. You see what I'm saying? And all the other crap that goes with, the racism and all that nonsense that we got to deal with.
Yeah.
So 3UFirst is about giving our community options. We don't have no options. We got to go to that job. We got to work for that company. You know what I'm saying? So because we don't have enough companies out there that can fulfill our community's needs. Like for example, we have no infrastructure. If we were to say today, if our community said today, that's it, we only gonna shop black, we starve. Starve, man, because we don't have the infrastructure set up. For distribution, which is key. You could have, we got farms, we got black farms, but we don't have the distribution.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
You got to be able to get that produce out on a consistent basis to a lot of places.
Absolutely, and so this is what I'm saying. What 3UFirst was created to do, man. 3UFirst was created to fill those holes. To create our own opportunities where we don't have to, where we can have a choice. No, I'm going here. Let me give you another example. I don't know if you heard of Maggie Anderson. She wrote a book called Our Black Year. And what that was about was her and her husband, they were well off.
Oh,
she was a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. I heard it. I know somebody. Go
Feel
ahead.
me, right?
I'm sorry.
Her husband, she was a lawyer. Her husband, I think, was an investment banker. So, they making six figures plus, and they were fine. They had, 2 daughters. And they started talking to themselves, and they actually were neighbors of the Obamas, before they went to the White House. So that would show you, the areas, who they hung out with. But
yeah.
So they made a choice. They said, you know what, we're gonna have to start giving back. So they made a conscious choice to say, you know what, for a year we're gonna shop black. Now they from Chicago. I mean, they lived in Chicago, and Chicago has a pretty large black population. Do you know they struggled for a whole year? I mean, that's why I said they wrote the book and talk about all the hardships that they had to go through. They had to shop at gas stations because they were black owned, but they didn't have, the things, that you would normally have in your community. There was a black supermarket, but they had to go 40, 50 miles, 60 miles, 70 miles to get there to shop. And then that store closed down. That supermarket closed down. So, I mean, so what I'm saying, I say all that to say, we do not have the infrastructure to even if we all wanted to shop black, we couldn't do it. So these are the things, I'm just giving examples of the importance of 3UFirst. And like I said, it's inclusive. It's comprehensive. It's not a book. I wrote the book, and then from the book, I created the action, the business, the company that we need in order to bring us together to solve our own problems. So this is not just talk. You go to 3UFirst.com, you watch the video, you can see, you look at all the retailers on there, you see it's ready to go. We just need the people to start shopping.
I like the site, man. I liked it. I messed around with it, man. It's groovy. If you see, I've been promoting it. I've been pushing it out there, man, especially with, I guess, the holiday season coming up and everybody want to shop. If you used to shop,
right.
So guess what? Go ahead and shop online. Go shop
That's
online.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We spending, right now it's set up 3UFirst itself to bring millions, if not tens of millions, back to our community. And we, like you said, this is the holiday season. People are going to be shopping. Why not shop on 3UFirst? You're going to see benefits from it. You're going to see what it can do for our community. Instead of going directly to these sites, they ain't doing nothing for us. They give us crumbs. You know what I'm saying? They give us crumbs. They do sponsor our events. But they give us crumbs compared to how much we give them.
Yes.
They give us They give us millions, and and we give them billions. That's
and
insane.
we're all right with that. At least we got something, right? At least we got
That's
something.
insane.
I got something back from it. That
That's
brother
what
over
I'm
there
saying.
trying to get me.